Hi, I'm Opal and I work for the Central Arkansas Library System, and I work at the Nixon branch in Jacksonville. This is the Crafting with Opal program that we do every other Thursday at 4, and today we're doing a butterfly paint-along. And those of you that signed up for supplies, they're ready for you to pick up, and you can watch this at any time and follow along. Today I have 2 people in person with me doing this program. So if you can't hear me at times, it's because I don't have a wireless microphone. I'll try not to say anything that's actually important when I walk away from the camera and stuff. So if you can't hear me for a few moments, I'm just over there kind of helping people out. If you got supplies from me, you will have gotten a black paint, a white paint, and then 2 other colors. And you can use the 2 other colors however you want. Let me get the example. Just pick one of them as your background and one of them as your butterfly. And you can always add a little bit of black or white to make those colors lighter or darker if you want to. Let's see. And you will have also received a canvas that's an 8x10. And I think I gave red tracing paper to everybody. I think it's also called graphite paper. And then a photo of the butterfly, so that's your template. You may end up having to cut the edge off of it in order to be able to tape it down to your canvas. So, this is fun. Try to do it this way. Use some like painter's tape or masking tape to do that you've got at home. But take the edge of it and just tape it down, like one side of it in place, and then also line up your butterfly, drawing, as close to as straight on your canvas as best, and then tape the edge of it down, because you're just going to be tracing the outline. And if you don't want to use this, you can hand draw it on there with a pencil if you prefer. And we have washi tape, so if you've got some washi tape, that works pretty good too. And paint brushes that you'll need: a large flat brush, a large round brush, and I have 2 different like small brushes, round brushes. I wasn't really sure which ones would work the best, so I just grabbed a couple. So just a small one for the details. And if you have a palette knife to, which I'll show you, whoops, you can use that to mix your paints if you need to. And of course you'll need something to put your paint on, like a paper plate, and a couple of cups of water will be good, because you're going to be rinsing off your brushes probably quite a bit. So that's always handy, have one at least that's not real dirty to dry or clean your brushes with. And paper towels or old washcloth. I like old washcloth. And I'm trying to think if that's about, I guess I could have looked at my list instead of trying to remember all of this myself. A pencil, of course, to draw with, and I think that was it. And I got this tutorial off of the internet on a website called easypeasyandfun.com. So they have several different cool things on there. I think that's it. And a blow dryer is handy, and I put one over there, and then there's a couple over here in the room. So if y'all wanted to blow dry in between, that's always helpful too. I'm gonna go mess with this because it doesn't seem like it's showing me. It's showing the video from last week. So let's see here. It should be showing the current one.
Oh, there you are with the unless
Yeah,
you
the
have the
old
same
ones.
outfit.
Yeah, those are all the old ones. Let's see, I wonder if let's see, I'm gonna reload the page. Usually whatever's live should pop up. There I am. Well, I'm not there, but let's see if I can enlarge full screen. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they're painting the back.
All right. I was just getting things ready for the people that are here, because if you come in person, we'll have it set up.
Still not the picture.
It's delayed.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm going to be, a little bit delayed on the screen up there. So I'm going to switch it around and then readjust it. I would turn on the volume, but I would be echoing since it's in person and stuff. So, looks like we do have one person following, and I'm a little behind as far as raise this up a little bit on taping everything down. And here, I guess I should show the example of what I did previously. I did that one at home. I really hate that I didn't remember to bring my paintbrushes from home. I love my paintbrushes. I have the more of the professional type paintbrushes. Once I started really painting, I decided to go ahead and like buy one or two just to see if there was a big difference. Because the lady I follow, the art Sherpa lady, she's like, you know, you can do it with the the student brushes. That's just works just as good. And then once I started using some of the better ones, and they weren't necessarily the most expensive ones. They were just a little bit better. They hold a lot more paint, and it goes on so much more smoothly, and like you have to, and you have to reload. You don't have to reload your paintbrushes often with the more expensive ones. It's like it's such a big difference. You don't realize it until you start trying them. And I still use mostly student paints, like this brand that we're using here today. The more expensive brand that I've been slowly switching to is Golden. There's some other ones, but this is quite a bit more expensive. The Golden brand, I guess I'll show it to them too. But there's other professional paints out there. But I found that I like this student one right here. And Liquitex actually makes a professional version of their paint too. And all it is it's thicker and has more pigment in it. So you actually end up adding water to your brush to get that paint to go further. So even though you may be getting fewer ounces in these, it's going further because you're having to add water to it to put it on. And it does a better job, like especially the yellows. Those are very transparent normally, and a lot of time with these student ones, it's a good idea if you're using the yellow, if you're putting it on a blank, like you're not putting it on top of a color. And even if you are putting it on top of a color, do a layer of white paint first. Let it dry, then do your yellow on top. Because otherwise you're going to be having to layer that yellow a lot to get it to show up. And I don't think I did it on this one, but I think I did have to add it several times on there to keep it from being so. But you can tell these white dots are kind of transparent looking.
Yes.
And so that's the way to avoid that, is to do some white first and then do that. So, and if you want to trace, you can go ahead and trace with your pencil once you get your...
So use a pencil.
Yeah, just trace the entire outline of the butterfly. And I don't think my tape is doing a very good job of holding on because it already came loose. Let's see. And just apply as much pressure as you feel comfortable with, which I don't think it would be too much to really press on it. I don't think it would hurt it, as long as you don't feel like you're going to tear through the canvas. I can't remember, so just get all that lined up. And I've already drawn on mine once before, so it's going to be kind of hard for me. Well, it's going to be hard to see where I've already drawn, because there's marks on here already from before. So I'm like, did I draw that one already? And I used a black graphite paper at home, so I'm not real sure how well this red is going to be.
This is called graphite paper.
Uh-huh. There's also tracing paper, which I don't think tracing paper would work. Usually the painting people always refer to using graphite paper. And what I love that the art Sherpa lady always says, she said, tracing is not cheating. She said, drawing, learning to draw is a totally different skill set to painting. So don't ever let anyone tell you that, you know, that you're cheating by tracing. And that makes sense. I mean, drawing is a totally different skill set from painting, because you're learning totally different things. And she said, you know, you can always practice on drawing later. You know, if that's something that you want to learn, you can come back and work on that at a different time. But if you just want to paint, then you go ahead and paint.
Excellent. I'm so glad you said that.
I think my pencil's about ready to break on me too. Well, let's see how. Oh, I can't see a thing. Oh, because I did mine backwards.
Oh, you put the wrong side down?
Yep, wasn't paying attention. It's on my.
You said that, I checked. Well,
That's.
in teaching, we always teach a non-example. This is how you would not want to do it. So
Yeah,
now,
and
let's
see,
do it
I
right.
told y'all to put the shiny part down, but I didn't tell them that part. I just assumed I had already laid it down on my canvas correctly. So yeah, make sure that the shiny part is, and watch some of them come back and tell me, yeah, it's like, I did it. I was just following along with you. Okay, well it worked because it drew it on the back of my my drawing there.
Okay.
At least I know.
A
it worked.
reverse type drawing.
Yeah. I'm going to get a better pencil here, because that other one was breaking. Let's see.
These are just not what they used to be.
Okay. So you guys get to watch me do this again, the people that are following along.
Repetition is good.
And the people that are watching, forgive me if you ask questions in the comments and then, oops, my stuff moved. Oh, that's going to really mess up. Oh, well, we'll see how that works out.
Was that a happy little accident?
I don't think it messed up too badly. Let's see. Yeah, my tape, my bad cheap tape here. I wonder if I should try to hand draw it now. Yeah, this might not work well. Okay, I think I'm going to have to hand draw this. Let's see how that works out. So, so it's about right there. And then that meets about right there. Okay. It's going to start there, and then I want it to go up here. Trying to gauge this by trying not to. And you can always, things don't end up exactly the way you want to when you're painting on it. You can always adjust it a little bit. Okay. I think that'll work. Oh, except I don't have antlers. Let's see here.
One more time what the paper is that we're tracing on.
Graphite paper. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. So I got mine drawn on there after 2 tries there. All right, so once you get your drawing on there, the first thing you're wanting to paint is the background. So whichever color you decided you wanted to do as your background, which I have not actually made up my mind yet. I picked a bright green and a bright orange for my 2 colors. So let me think. And I almost think I want to lighten or darken. I want to be a little bit different. Let's see. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. No, that's fun that I picked green.
That's true.
I think I might go with the green background. Yeah. So if you want to make your colors a little bit good, I gave you a lot of white, so if you want to have a slightly different shade of what I gave you, you can always mix it, which this orange is turning a very interesting color because I put a lot of white in it. It's actually kind of peachy. I'm going to grab a little bit more. I want it a little bit darker. Or more color. Let's see.
But cover the whole back with this stuff, with the background color.
Yes.
Don't try to go around
I don't know why I'm mixing the color I'm going to use for my butterfly first. I guess I really shouldn't have done that. I got excited about wanting to change the color.
Do you use the big brush?
Yes, use your large brush to do the background. It'll be faster. Now, if you get close to your butterfly and want to go ahead and use a smaller brush to go around the edges if you don't want to go
So
over.
you don't paint over the butterfly with our background?
No, I mean you can. It might show up. Let's see. Sometimes it will show up. You can kind of go over the edge a little bit and see if you can see through it. And I would just mostly go over the edges. Yeah, but if you used pencil, usually pencil shows through really well.
Oh, should I trace over the pencil? Or
No, but if you wanted to, you could always do it that way. Because that's one thing about pencil. You want to make sure that eventually, if you use it, you want to use do like an outline in black to make sure it gets completely covered up. Because a lot of the lighter color paints will not cover it up. And I think I'm going to just go with that bright green that I chose. So, and if you haven't painted before, it's always a good idea to wet your paintbrush and then drag off the excess water. And if you have like an old washcloth or paper towels, you can do that with it. But you do want to wet your brush a little bit. And so I'm just going to pick up some paint and paint the background. And if you want to paint the edges of your canvas, you can, but you don't have to. That's just up to you, whatever you...
Going on the edges.
Yeah, it's completely up to what you prefer. And if you want it darker, then doing a couple of coats would be, like my green, it's going to be a little transparent on the canvas, which I don't think that bothers me or not. I don't think it does. And it looks like I can see my antlers through my paint, so oops, unless I get the paint on too dark, which I don't mind having to draw my antlers again if I have to. But you can paint around the edges of the butterfly, and You can get really close to the edge of the butterfly because you're going to be using the black paint, like I said, to outline it. So, yeah, so if you go a little over the edge, I wouldn't go a whole lot over the edge because the paint you're going to use on your butterfly may not be dark enough to really cover that color. So it might be kind of hard to do that. So I wouldn't go over the edge very much, just in case whatever color you chose isn't a real dark color. Because the one I'm going to use, I think it'll definitely show through because it's a really light color. And once you get like one coat on there, it's a good idea to do a second coat a lot of times. And you can even like, if you wanted to add some, instead of it being just a solid color on your background, what I did with mine, I like added like a little bit of, maybe it was a white or something, and I just kind of, so this purple one, it's got like kind of see-through-y and it's darker in different areas, just to give it a little more dimension so it wasn't one solid color. I kind of made it look a little hazy.
So did you paint over some of your white dots?
I didn't put the dots on until I got done, but my background itself, I did a solid purple first.
Okay.
And then I went back and kind of did purple again, but I maybe added a slight, I don't know, white, not a whole lot. I mean, I barely added any white to it, and just brushed over it slightly. I didn't cover the entire thing, but gave it kind of a hazy brush stroke look to it instead of it being one solid color. And that's, you can do different things like that. It's not up to you. I mean, you don't have to do it that way. The one I was following, she just did it solid background. But I wanted to add a little dimension to it, and mine was getting real, the purple was real see-through-y.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to repaint the entire thing again. So I just kind of did some brush strokes over it with a little bit lighter purple on top of it to just give it a little bit different look. I was trying to hurry up and do it fast.
Hurry up and be creative.
Yeah. And I was playing too, just to kind of see what it would look like. And I was like, well, I guess it doesn't have to be a solid color. I can do whatever. And that's what is fun about following someone's tutorial. You can always, add and do other things that they didn't do to try out. And sometimes you have fun and it turns out even better than what the original one was. And hopefully the red paper didn't smudge too much onto your canvas, and that might cause you to have to paint over it a little bit more to get that red off of there. I tried to pick up.
But I think this will cover.
Okay, yeah, because we did a blue transparent paper one time. It was when we were doing the Spider-Man last year, and it was hard. That blue kept smearing onto the back of the canvas, and it really made it hard covering it up. And that Spider-Man one, I kind of did a similar thing. I went online and found a painting that someone had come up with of him, and I just printed out the image on a piece of paper and used it as an outline for the image that we did. Because I was trying to, this year we did that comic book coaster for Will Eisner Week, and last year it was paint a superhero, and we did Spider-Man. A lot of those, I noticed when I was looking for images, a lot of people for their kids and stuff, if they like the different Marvel superheroes, they'll get a bunch of these small canvases like this one and just paint the logo for each superhero onto a canvas, which is real simple. I mean, the logos are not, like the bat symbol or, just whatever symbol it is for that character. And they just did each one of those for all the Avengers or whichever ones the kid liked. I was like, well, that's a simple way to decorate their room, and it's neat, you know. And you don't have to be real artistic to do it, because you could just use the images you find online and just trace over them, because those are just solid colors, you know, paintings. And if you want to hurry up the drying process, once you get the first layer of your paint on there, you can always use the blow dryer. Just be sure to use it on the cool setting. One of the bigger blow dryers up here, it's got a red switch and a black switch. Only do the black switch. So the red switch will turn on the heat. So it's already set on the cold setting. All right, so I got my green. And mine, I'm going to be impatient, and I'm going to blow dry it. And if you don't use that one, there's a gray button on the other ones that you push in to do the cool setting. Oops. Okay. So I'm just doing a second layer. And I might end up... I didn't exactly... I wasn't a perfectionist when it came to the first layer. I've had to learn how to speed up on my painting.
Yes, I guess so.
And just let go, because I'm a perfectionist, and so when it comes to everything, so I just finally had to just let go of that and go, okay, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. And the amount of time that we have for these programs, which is only about an hour, so we can go a little over an hour, but I'm really pushing it if I do. So I've been trying to learn how to speed up. And I always wondered how the lady I followed, the art Sherpa lady, I'm like, how in the world do you paint so fast?
I thought it was talent. They knew what they were doing. Like sketching.
Yes. And that one, I think, yeah, you just turn up and then you push the button once there's a switch. Oh. Yeah, you switch it up and then you just hold down that gray button once you get it turned on. The art Sherpa.
Did you always paint your canvas with a white or a background, a solid color before you put your color on it?
Not if the canvas is pre-gessoed, which most I have found, unless you go to a specialty place, they're all gonna be pre-gessoed,
Okay.
yeah. So usually you don't have to worry about that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to my regular color, and I'm just gonna just do some little swipes over the canvas to give it some. I'm kind of giving it, I don't know, kind of a different look. I'm not sure even what it would be called, but it's getting white streaks in it is what's happening. It's giving it kind of a frosted look, I suppose.
You mean on purpose or?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. I painted, I keep looking at yellow, which I did not mean to do.
Hey, it could be a happy accident.
Exactly, I decided it must be.
And one thing that we don't really think about doing when we get done with our painting a lot of times is there's a gloss, or, well, not a gloss. I'm trying to remember the actual name of it. You can kind of like seal your paintings when you get done. And some of the stuff that you can buy, it can have a satin finish to it, or where it's not glossy, or you can do one that actually has it gives it a shiny look when you get done with it. Trying to
The
remember.
problem is knowing when I'm done, because I keep thinking,
Oh, you got to add some more to it. Okay. So if y'all wanted to do, which I don't know that you would want to do what I'm doing, I just added a little bit of, and mind you, I'm still talking to people online too, so it's weird doing that. I'm just doing some little streaks and stuff. You don't have to do that on yours. I add like a little bit of white and just kind of streaking my canvas with. I'm mostly doing my green, but I'm adding a little bit of white to it, so it's kind of streaky.
I did that by accident, so I decided since you were doing it, really just a professional.
So there we go. It didn't look quite the same on the screen when I'm showing it, but here, I'll walk around. See, it's just streaky looking stuff.
Yeah.
It's nothing
Almost
fancy or nothing. It just keeps it from being like a flat color. Yeah. See, that works too. I like that. That's why I'm like always trying to tell people, try some other, don't necessarily do it exactly the same. Try some other things to it too.
Do you ever do this sort of thing for groups? I mean, I know you do here, obviously, but like a church group?
Not so far. We were, before the pandemic happened, we were going to try to reach out to nursing homes and stuff to do some, like, not as full blown as this, because there is a lot of supplies involved and it kind of gets expensive. We were going to do like maybe smaller type things, like little birdhouses, something tiny and small that they could paint, But yeah, we were thinking about it. My boss is looking into, she was asking me about, there's a ceramic place in Cabot. I don't think she realized there was one here in Jacksonville. I told her this after she'd already checked with the Cabot one, about purchasing some pieces that had to do with our summer reading club, like that are ocean themed ones, and they were going to give her a discount if she bought like 20 of them, and then also the paint to go along with it, and we would have them paint them here, and then she was going to take them to there to get them fired and everything. I was like, well, if that's something you want to do, I said, we did do something with the ceramic shop here in town. Oh yeah, and golly, this was right before the pandemic hit. We went to the one here in town, and we. Yeah, we went over there, and were you one of the ones that did it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, we did that time, and she's. Oh, octopus. All right, so I just cleaned off my brush after once you get your background the way you like it, and let it be somewhat dry and everything, then you'll want to do the main color for your butterfly, because we'll do the tracing and the black part of the butterfly later. So whenever you get ready to do that, you'll probably, if you want to use your big flat brush to paint the majority of the butterfly, you'll be able to cover it a lot faster, but you may end up finding that on the edges you may switch to one of your smaller brushes to get more of the detail. But again, you don't have to worry a whole lot about that, because you're going to be going over the edges with your black paint to outline it, so be somewhat correct, but you don't have to be exactly on that. And if you get in the areas that you're going to have black paint, that's okay, because the black paint will definitely cover it up really good. Wow, this definitely is a peachy color. The orange, after I added the white to it, it got real peachy looking. And that's a neat thing about paints. They don't always do what you think that they're going to do when you add black or white to them, because they're not the same as the rainbow. Right. Because pigments don't always, so it's always a good idea if you're going to do a lot of painting and you want to be able to mix and get different colors on your own, to get one of they sell them at, I got mine at Hobby Lobby, I think, was one that will show you what colors you mix together to get the colors that you want.
Now you got a what?
It's I can't think of what it's called. It's like a color chart kind of type thing, where it's a bunch of squares of colors, and then on the left edge and then on the bottom edge of it is your normal colors, and then all in the middle section is what they end up being when you mix those with those colors. So, for example, last year for Valentine's Day, I picked up a couple of different wooden type things for us to paint that we handed out for our grab and go. And one of them was the word love. And I decided to paint every other color, a purplish color, like my wall in my bedroom. I wanted to match it. Mm-hmm. So you're thinking purple. So you're like, oh, probably purple, whatever purple you got, and you'll probably add like black or white or something like that, because it's kind of a grayer purple. Right. No, it ends up getting muddy and does not end up that color. And I forget. I got that little color chart out, found the color that looked the most close to the color that I wanted, and I was really shocked and surprised, and I don't remember now which colors I ended up using, but the ones I ended up mixing to get that color was not at all what I thought. It was amazing. I was like, wow, okay, so that came in handy. If you ever want to do that, I would recommend getting one of those. I mean, you could probably find it online, but being able to see that true color on the internet is not necessarily an easy thing to do. Having it printed is a little bit better. And that art Sherpa lady I follow, she actually shows you how to make some of those out of the colors that you have, the paints that you have. So, and she's like, if you're learning and that's one of those things you want to learn, she always recommends you trying that out. I haven't done that myself, but I don't paint as much as a lot of the people that follow her do. Yeah. I just don't have the time. Yeah, it is. I was off. I took off this week on Mondays, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and my sister's family from Kansas was visiting because they didn't get to come at Christmas time, so they came for spring break. So yesterday, before I went to see them, I decided to play around with some paint that I have. I got a little oil paint kit that I got interested in after going to Eureka Springs last year. And because after talking to a lady that's what all she does is paint with oil paint, I was like, oh, she made it sound so easy and fun. I was like, I want to try it. And I knew that Tuesday Morning had a little beginner's kit for like $17.
Of oil paint.
Yeah, of oil paints. And so I was like, well, that's a great little price. I had noticed it and didn't pick it up, and because at the time I wasn't sure.
So I had the little oil kit work.
I played around with it, painting. I had bought a tutorial of a painting from a friend of mine that's in Germany. Her husband's in the military, and she got shipped over there, and she's been over there a long time. And she had a really neat tutorial of sheep in a field that she did that was really, really cute, and I bought it to the video from her. She would normally give you the supplies, but since I was in America, I was like, oh, I got all the painting supplies I need.
Right.
And so I thought, well, that would be a fun way to try out that tutorial. Is she's doing it with acrylic paints, of course, instead of oil.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a bit of a learning curve. So far, it is quite different doing oil painting because it takes an extremely long time for the paint to dry.
Yes.
And
even with a hairdryer, or can you really not use a hairdryer?
I'm not sure that they recommend it. I didn't try it, and I haven't tried it, but I do like that I can let it sit there for a day or two and then come back to it and it's still kind of wet.
Well,
So
yes.
that part, it appeals to me.
If you're mixing acrylics, you've got to do the layer whatever
Right then, yeah. And getting it to blend again later, yeah, you kind of have to let it dry and then start over and kind of paint over that area again, yeah.
And my yellow is not covering my pencil or my red or my blue, so do I need to do something besides yellow, do you think, or will the black be okay?
You could paint over it with white if that's what you want to do. Yeah,
okay.
you could paint the whole thing over in white.
Around the edge, yeah.
And then go back over it. But that's up to you. I mean, if you wanted to, depending on how thick of a line you're going to make around your butterfly. I mean, mine's super thin, but it's not
Well,
super thin.
I can do the whole outline, that thick, the
Mhm.
edge,
Yeah.
like it's black, I can do that. Okay.
So
I
you
can
could,
do that.
yeah, okay. And mine, I came over on the edge here, my green got over into so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to cover that up. I think I'm going to put a little bit of white over that because it's not being covered up by the paint color I picked.
Right.
So I'm just going to dry it and then do some white and then try my color again because it is a darker color. So I'm going to do that on mine because I'll have to do another layer of this color that I mixed because it's very light.
Yeah.
know this is taking a while, and I hate to rush y'all, but I was just looking. It's like 10 minutes till, so.
Here.
I'm definitely gonna have to take this home.
Take it home? Okay.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
All right. Because I was going to say, and if you don't have paintbrushes at home, I have a kit of paintbrushes I can give you. I can run over and get them.
Please.
So, did you need any, Ann? I can't remember.
I got the brushes, but can I do a little dab of the paint to go?
Yes,
on that?
yes. Actually, I'll grab some containers.
Okay,
Some-
that would be the.
If you want to take the plate, that's fine, but I also have 2-ounce containers that have lids that I put paint in for the people that do them at home. So I can grab a
I
few
don't wanna
extra.
waste, I just use that.
Use that?
Yeah,
Okay.
cause I only live 5 minutes away, so.
Okay. How about you, Ann? Did you want any containers for your
Yes, I
paint?
have a couple.
Okay. All right. So I'll grab some of those, and that's drying anyway. Okay. So I need containers and paintbrushes. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I would, cause I wanna do some lighter colors.
I'll just bring the bags, and so we can have plenty.
So it has several layers, I think, on.
I don't have my Rocks card.
Time went by really fast.
It does when you're painting. Yeah. It does. It does
That's
go by.
fun. That way this can dry at least too.
I am slow in everything, so every arts and crafts, I will probably never get finished.
Right.
But, you know, I'm new to this, and I'm just having
I
fun.
used to change my mind half a dozen times, but I was trying. I just can't believe the time's gone. Time flies when you're having fun.
These are the paint. I just get these at Walmart, but these are really good beginners paintbrushes.
Better than the ones I get at Dollar Tree.
Yeah, the brand is good. Royal, what is it? Langnickel? I don't know how you say that. Anyway, they do a lot of student brushes, which I think a lot of the ones you're using are that brand. They make a lot of different kinds of paintbrushes too. So, it's funny, we bought all of these condiment containers for like food programs.
Yes.
And didn't hardly ever get to use them for food programs, and then
Yes.
we use the heck out of them for all
Oh,
the
good.
painting stuff that we do.
Maybe I can scoop up my black. I used most of it.
So, you see, how many did you want? Several or
3,
four?
I think. I wanna do a. Or 4, let me have 4.
Yeah, whatever you think.
My black.
And as far as cleaning your paintbrushes at home,
Yes.
there is several different kinds of brush cleaners. But one of my favorites, which I don't think they sell in the stores, 'cause this is my favorite one. You can find it on Amazon. It's really, really good. It gets all the paint out of them, and it also actually protects your brush. It gets-
So, yes. Oops.
And, like I said, I found it on Amazon. You could look around and see if one of the other places have them, but it's a good conditioner for paintbrushes. So I bought several of these for our class. I guess I could show the people online. This is the paintbrush cleaner that I was showing them, if you're interested in a good one. I can't remember the name of the brand. There's a kind that, I've seen it Michael's. I think it's Michael's and Hobby Lobby. Let's see here. I can't remember. It comes in like, it's a round container, and it's more like a solid, like piece of soap type thing when you unscrew it, and it's a good one too. I was buying it before I started buying this one, but I like this one because it seems to get more out of it.
Is it a cream?
No, it's a hard. This it's. I don't know. It gets really soft at times. It gets liquidy.
Oh,
but
do you pour it out and mix it with water? You put it.
You just dip your brush in there, get it on there. You want your brush wet, and then
Okay,
you
yes.
get some of that on there. And I don't know if you're supposed to do this because some paint has cadmium in it, but I use the
Yes.
palm of my brush to rub the brush around get it into the bristles, or I might use my fingers to work it in there. And you may do it several times and then rinse it off.
Right.
But yeah, it works pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this white paint over it to cover up that green area.
But now you just use this paint when it's good and dry to use a brush and go around the edge to do your edge.
Yes, and for the edges, for the black paint, a good thing to do is you know how the black or the craft paint is that you buy, it's more liquidy.
Yes.
What you can do, since this is really thick,
Yes.
just keep adding, get your paintbrush wet and add water to the black paint and keep doing it until it gets liquefied, but not like runny, just liquefied.
Okay.
This is Golden, their liquid paint, and that's what I used at home. And that's essentially what it is. It's the exact same paint you're working with, but it's more of a liquid form. So you know how this one sits up and has shape?
Yeah.
When you pour this, it pulls out. It's more liquidy, more fluid. That's it. They call it fluid paint. And yeah, here it is. If I'd read the bottle, it says fluid acrylic paints. And anyway, you just outline the whole butterfly in it, and of course the little spots and stuff that you do on here. If you want them to be not transparent like mine, you could do a white spots on your canvas first, and just
So you get some
Make-
white and some yellow.
yeah. And if you wanted the yellow not to be transparent, I didn't do this. Do white spots first, let it dry, then do your yellow on top of it, and then it would be more
White and
bold, and it would actually show up. Mine doesn't. Now I'll show the people what I'm talking about. I didn't do the white first, and then she also did some white spots on top of the yellow after, just to give it kind of like
Yes.
you pick a direction of where the light is coming from, and so you put like a little smear of white paint on the edge of it, that whatever direction you think your light's, like say you pick this, it's at an angle, well, put your little white mark on that edge, so it shows like it's almost like light is showing ricocheting off of the little.
Okay, cool.
And that's kind of, and that's what the little butterfly's got, the white marks along the edge of the butterfly, and that gives it's kind of more of a light reflection. And she did it on the little antenna areas and stuff too. And for the main part of this, and she also did the little dots, which were kind of cute. If y'all wanted to take pictures of this, or take your tracing, it's got the same
Oh,
stuff on
okay.
it.
Yes,
one more?
yes. Perfect.
Oh, yeah, sure. And then just for the background areas, that's just use lighter colors. She used mostly white. I mixed and did a lighter purple to do streaks on mine.
Oh, on your background.
On the little butterfly, the
Oh, yes,
wings.
yes, I see some purple in there.
Yeah, I just kind of did, different little
Yes.
streaks of it. And you can do that. I mean, I thought, well, I want more of a contrast. So that's why I added a little bit of and I didn't even do it real dark on the edges of my, and don't forget to sign it.
Oh, yeah.
You can either sign it on the front, or I like to, and I didn't do it this time, I usually on the back of my canvas, I'll write the date also that I painted it, so I'll know when I did it. But that's basically the rest of it. And just kind of with your circles, do a lot of different sizes
Yeah, okay.
on there too. And do teeny tiny ones. If you want to get some perfect little tiny ones, you can get anything that's got a point to it. You can either use the back end of your paintbrush
Yes, it did.
or even toothpicks, stuff like that if you want different little dots. Because you could do some just little white dots on there if you wanted to, little bitty tiny ones. And that's just for your background.
Yeah, this is gonna take me a while, but I'm gonna be so happy when it's finished. Cause I'm gonna do a multicolor green since the background is darker and bring out the color more. And I did the little circles, but I'm gonna do more.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're using a color that's not dark enough to show up on that color, and you didn't leave a white background, just use some of your white paint to draw them first, and then paint over it, and they'll show up a lot more. Yeah, it may take a few, like, if you see my butterfly, I did a nice dark white over that edge that had the purple, or the green showing through. And so I just covered it up real good, and I'm letting it dry, and now when I go to put that light color on there again, it'll blend right over it, and no problem. There's always, with acrylic paint, there's always ways to fix things. You just have to let it dry and do it again.
Yeah.
I'm learning what that oil paint is. You can't really let that dry as fast. It's not as good. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other things. I would like to try to. If y'all wanted to work a little bit longer, that's fine. I guess I need to finish this for the people that are following along, huh? And I didn't let that white paint dry, so I'm going to have to. I just started painting on it, so let me see. And it streaked a little bit on me. But your blow dryer is your friend. I always keep mine close by. Huh?
What's the thing from Minecraft? What are you doing?
It's, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it's a garden one where we're going to show you how to plant and grow bulbs. So, that one is probably the best time. And we have the radiola bulbs, so the ones that we're going to be giving out to people and showing you how. And that one won't take very long. It's mostly going to be showing you how to do, because all bulbs are different on what depth you're supposed to plant them, and then how far apart to plant them. And mostly matters, the packaging will tell you exactly all that stuff. And then I think there's some blood meal that I bought that's a good thing to put down in the ground before you plant the bulb to help it grow and stuff. So it'll be a nice short and sweet type of program. If people want to participate and help do it, they can. But I think I'm mostly just going to be showing people how to do it and helping. Because it makes it not really very, very hot. If we wear it or pouring down rain.
Yeah, you never know.
If it ends up pouring down rain, it may be more of an informational type thing. I may not show how to do it. I may just talk about it. And we'll do it in here if that's the case. But I'll probably have people meet in here if they want to do it in person.
Is the sign-out sheet already out?
I think they gave it to me. Yeah, they gave all of it to me. It's the same thing if you want to be in person. The top one. And she was asking about next week's. It's going to be how to plant and grow bulbs.
Oh,
So
great.
if it's good weather, there'll be an outside tutorial.
We've
If
got
it's
plenty
bad,
garden.
if it's bad weather, it's just gonna be inside here, more of an informational type thing.
Okay.
So, if you wanted us, did you wanna sign up?
Yes, yes. Do you still want some strawberry plants for the garden out there? I've got some.
Did you not notice that we have some growing back from
Yes,
last year?
yes, I do.
Um,
There were a couple blooming back 2 months ago.
Right, and we covered them up to save
Yes.
them during the snow,
Yes.
so they made it. They actually made it, so we were excited.
Let's see, what date will this be?
I don't know, whatever 2 weeks from now is. Oh, it's at the top of the paper. I think it-
March 31st.
Thursday, March 31st.
Well, if you can't do it in person, just call up here and change it to virtual, and you can just pick up the supplies. So if you want to come back and watch, if you're not sure about something I said on how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and finish it up, and y'all can always follow along on here. I'm going to try to do it as fast as I can, because I know I don't want to have to work after hours, and I know they won't want to wait on me either, so I'll just try to quickly do this. May not be my best work, but it'll be good enough.
I'm gonna put this in a car and come right back for my painting.
All right. I have way more paint than I actually need to. I'm realizing now whenever I hand out paint to people that I'm always giving way too much, but that's okay. That is okay. I'd rather you have too much than be mad because you can't finish your painting. I'm noticing that red stuff is actually getting covered up better by my paint than the pencils drawings that I did.
Yes, the red is, well, yeah.
I guess depending on what color you use.
The blue was covering it up very well, so that's when I went back and did some pencil, and then.
And if you don't let an area dry really good and you keep painting over it, you can have issues. I found this little corner I'm having issues with. The paint started actually like coming up off the canvas. I was like, oh no, I got too much in a hurry. Sometimes fixing an area like that ends up being more difficult later.
You have to really, really let it dry, and then if it gets too dry. Okay, there's my brushes.
know. I have another corner that's got a lot of green on it, and I'm thinking, how's that corner gonna look? I guess I could make it a really thick one.
Can you put a flower down there?
Something. I guess I might be happier if I try to cover it up. There we go. All right, see you next time. Bye. All righty. One more time. Using this blow dryer. Well, thank you. You didn't have to do all that. Okay. Now that I got that the way I want to, I'm going to go to a smaller brush. Oh yeah, I went and tried to find some more of those to buy, the heavy ones, and they are not cheap online. I did not find a good price for those. I found some in Florida in a, what was it, one of those bargain, like, it's like TJ Maxx. Huh?
Not an Ollie's.
No, it was like a TJ Maxx or Marshall's type store.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but they had Halloween colors, and they were cheap.
Yes.
And I was going to buy them for work, and then I realized I'm in Florida. If I try to use my work credit card in Florida, it's probably going to deny it.
Right.
So I didn't buy them. I was like, oh well, I'm on vacation. I don't need to be doing work stuff. That's okay. I just didn't worry about it because I told my husband, I was like, oh, that would be so cool. And then I was going to buy them, and then I realized, I was like, oh, I need to not do that because that's all I needed was to get my card denied and then not be able to use it the next time I needed it.
Exactly.
I didn't want to cause any problems. Okay, so for my butterfly colors, like the streaks I'm going to make, I'm making like a even lighter color of the actual butterfly wings by mixing white to my color. And so I'm going with a really, really pale one. I'm also going to use some white paint. So I got a nice pale color now.
Thoroughly you wash those before I rinse.
Rinsed. Okay, thank you. That helps out a lot. Because as long as you rinse the majority of the paint out of your brushes, even if you paint them, clean them more thoroughly with that paint brush cleaner,
Yeah.
it's helps a lot, and there's not as much you have to clean out of it that way. And as long as you don't let them dry out too much, you can actually fix a lot of them with some of that paintbrush stuff. You can get them pretty clean because I've done that before. So what I was doing with mine, I went and took that really pretty color and made it even lighter. And so I'm gonna,
almost an iridescent.
yeah, so it's,
Ooh, Is that just white, or did you add something else to it?
I just kept putting white in there. So so I'm gonna streak, do my little streaks with that, and then some white. I don't know if I'll do any of the. I don't think I'll do green streaks like I did the purple streaks on my other one. I think that might not look good on this one.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna start with that and see. And when I do the streaks, I do them more of a let's see, not real like heavy paint. It's more of like a dry, what they call dry brushing.
Okay, yes.
And so you want it kind of streaky. And actually, it looks more white. I have lightened it up so much that it's more of a white color. And so, right. And you can go back and do some little bit darker stuff on there if you want to. I find that
the light on the bottom.
Yeah, I kind of like that. You can actually layer it more if it didn't turn out quite the way you wanted it. Yeah. You can come back and do more of the lighter streaks once it dries and stuff.
The center's black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Will certainly go over that.
So I might as well be using white, but I think I'm going to use the white on top because the white kind of stands out more.
Yes.
So I think I am going to do the white on top and just start with yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what kind of direction I went in. And you're just really just kind of wanting to do it at an angle. And I do mine all over, but if you want to do it more centralized, let me show you kind of how some of these, I should have shown these to everybody, but the ones that I found online, they did more, a little bit different. I think I'm following more of what that one did than what this other person did. Maybe because I found it easier.
Right.
It might be. I might have tried.
I see the dark in there, a lot of that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different ways to add color to it. But I think doing the
color combinations are neat.
Yeah, because people, just whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And this is a great one to, like, if you had kids, you want to do it with kids too.
Yes.
This would be a really good one. I think once we start doing more stuff, if Terry wants to do something like this next year with the kids, I think that would be great. Oh, they do it over there in the library. Mm-hmm.
Now, last Friday night, our church ladies had decided that we would start a craft night. And I didn't think they should do it at night because a lot of the ladies don't like to get out at night.
Right, they don't want to drive.
Well,
yeah.
then it snowed and we canceled anyway. And everybody was just going to bring their own thing. And I thought, well, it'd be nice if we all started off with something kind of together. And I wouldn't mind buying things if I had a clue what they'd like to do and something to do.
Right.
And my friend Sandra still has a lot of dried flower petals that she saved because we thought last year we might do a thing with the church and with here. And of course, we couldn't do live stuff.
Right. And we're doing what is it? Some ocean themed stuff for summer reading this year. So we've already got one of my other coworkers, Megan. She's going to do all my programs during the summer because she's doing a quilling craft that's going to be ocean creatures.
Yes.
A needle felt mermaid tail.
Okay.
I guess like a brooch type.
Oh,
It's going to be like a little brooch type thing. I think that's what she decided on. And then there's a seashell that you dye with what is it called? Alcohol ink. Yeah.
You make it or you buy it?
Well, you buy the shell and then
But the ink.
the ink. You buy the ink. And she was been wanting to do a craft with alcohol ink, and so we found one with doing the seashell, and we're like, oh, that would go perfect with Summer Reading Club.
Yes.
So you could do multicolors and stuff with that, and you can use a gel pen to put little stars and stuff on it because it was like a galaxy themed one I think we found online, so it was really cute.
Okay.
And then what was the other one? There was another one she was going to do. Oh, found objects. It's like taking a canvas and taking like sticks and rocks and ocean glass.
Ooh,
That's
yes.
or yes. So that's what she's So and then you can draw your image, draw on it too.
Right.
And she's collected a bunch of sticks and stuff from the I think whenever she went camping and stuff. So I was like, all right, you go, girl.
Oh, I was going to. This lady that I was with, she's in Texas, in Austin, and I had seen her when we did on site with, and I gave behind her in some of her things, some of her Zooms. She has some red birds up there, and I chatted with one day. She said, "Oh, I love birds, and I do a lot with the Humane Society." So I made a little. It's about a 3x4 little canvas thing. In fact, I'll show it to you in a moment. But she somehow blew it up, and it doesn't work because it shows it wasn't made to be blown up. But she has it behind her now, and I cannot. I said, "How'd you do it?" She said, "Well, I just made a wallpaper out of it, but it's not on her screen; it's on her wall."
On her wall.
And I can't figure out how in the world she did. Let's see if I can actually show you the
Wow.
picture.
And I'm using solid white paint now for the streaks that I'm doing. So if anyone wonders.
Oh, are you still on there?
Yeah, we're still. It's okay.
This was a
Oh yeah. See,
good stuff.
you can. Yeah, it's kind of neat. She's been wanting to do a found objects type craft for a while now. I'm like, sure, that sounds fun.
Of course, I have one out there on display with where I glued bark on. Oh, here's one of what's his name's, where I told you he peeled off around the edge of the two ovals.
Wow, that's interesting. Wonder how. Surely you could Google that to figure out what he used.
Right.
That's
I did a whole bunch
neat.
of pictures because I thought it was so neat with his work. Oh, well, here's the little picture that I gave her. It's about a 3x4,
Oh yeah.
and she blew it up huge.
Wow. I like that. That's pretty. I have a neat, once we start doing more things in person next year, this is one I planned on doing 3 years ago. It's a birch tree paint along with, and you put little red birds on the birch tree, yeah. And it's an Art Sherpa one. Darn it. My husband currently has the one I painted up on in his room that he does because he loves snow type stuff.
Yes.
And so he's like, "Can I have that one?" He's never asked to have any of my paintings before, and I was like, "Well, sure.
Please.
I'm glad you liked it." So, yep. This is. So and I'm gonna, if you want to do other things, like if you want to use some contrasting color in here, actually, I'm trying to think. If I wanted to go darker, I don't know. I hate to use black because black doesn't always turn out the way it should.
And you're going to have it around the edge.
Yeah, but I want it to be, let me think.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Trying to think of any other colors I have. Really hate to mess that up by doing more. But I kind of almost wondered if I could get that color darker, but it's probably not going to end up very pretty. Well, I need my black paint anyway for the outline, so let me just dip the tip of my brush in this. And oh yeah, it's definitely going to not be a pretty color. Yep. And that was just barely dipping my paintbrush in it. It's more of an ugly, muddy color.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so we're not doing that.
Silver, yeah.
That's not going to work. So I guess the only way to get a brighter color is if I went back to my original orange. Let's see.
Oh, a darker orange, yes.
Yeah, so the one, I'm trying to remember what color. I don't know if I used this one or this one. It was one of these oranges.
Well, even if you use the darker one.
Let's see. Oh, I would
See,
never.
You mixed a lot of white. To
Yeah, I
get that
did.
darker.
It's funny how this orange ended up being more of a peach. Yeah, more on the pink side than on the. I wonder.
Yeah, you probably could never mix that again.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you if you only mixed white with that to get the two shades.
Yeah, I did. I just add more and more white to it. Yeah. I guess I could try a little bit of white with the green and see how light I could get it. Because sometimes you can end up with a really light green. I'll just need more white. Let's see here. This one's about ready to go out. Yeah. Like a lime green, maybe? Let's see. Because if I got it light enough, it might look okay.
Right, with just a hint of the green to pick up. Yeah.
Because it'd be along the lines of the lightness of the other.
Leave it kind of streaky without a solid pale green. See how that works.
All right, so
Here, I'm telling you how to do it.
hey, so let's just see. Oh yeah,
Possibly, yes.
I think so, and especially if I get it on top of some of that white, it'll show up a little bit more.
I like that because it picks up without being too definitive.
Yeah, yeah. They can't probably
Lovely.
see it as well on the, because I can tell,
Oh, no.
but you can see it
Well, yes.
a little bit. It's kind of really hard to
Yes.
see on the screen, but you can give that, play around with that too if y'all want to. I think it definitely shows up better in person than on there.
Well,
And-
your peach is so much prettier. It looks more rosy, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I love your peach.
Yeah, I cannot. I would never have thought I would have got that color from lightening up an orange. That would have not been what I would have imagined. I just thought it was going
I
to.
like that green. Excellent idea.
So, nice little contrasting color. Yeah. And please send me photos of your finished art. I'd love to see it. And we'll post it on our Facebook page too.
I don't know why that popped up.
Oh.
It was another one. With
Oh.
the little tree in front of my painting.
Oh, that's pretty.
I was looking for my camera.
All right. So I just added a little more green to that. All right. So all that's left is the black paint in your background. So the little circles and stuff that we're going to do. And if you're picking a really light color that you want it to show up really well, mine, I didn't do it, but if you do a white circle first and then put your yellow on top
I
of
wrote
it.
that down, and then a little tiny spot of white maybe on the edge for
of-
light effect.
Mm-hmm. And so that will
Yeah,
make it show up more. Yeah. So I don't really know how, I'm trying to think if I want to use my lighter color or my darker color. I guess I'll use my lighter color first because it's kind of a white, so if it doesn't show up real good, not a big deal.
Right.
Let's see. And if I want to go with the darker color on top of it, I can, if I don't like the effect of it. Because it is definitely a whiter color. It almost looks white.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want it to show up more, then I would use a darker color. Because that one's, on the screen here for them, it looks white.
Right.
It doesn't look like it has any color to it whatsoever, but it really does have a color to it.
And you can actually see the color in this, and almost a raised effect
Mm-hmm.
actually shows up on the screen.
So I might just go through and do all the light color stuff first, and then come back and maybe with a darker color on top of it. But just alternate, like do big ones, little ones, the little tiny like dots even, like little pin drops. And just keep in mind we haven't done the antenna yet.
Right. Give it space.
So my antennas are going to be right there. I painted over them, but and essentially what you're going to do is, and am I running out of time? Yeah, they're going to shut me down. I'm not going to finish this painting, but I think most of you guys shouldn't have a problem with this. You've got the printout of the traceable. So what you're going to end up doing is just painting the body all black, and then paint your antennas black. Once that all dries, and then also do the outlines of their butterfly, the entire outlines. Once you got all that dry, then you're going to do the little faint white and you'll use your smaller, thinner brushes for these little marks to give them kind of a color, reflective look to it. And you're just going to do tiny little lines of white on and around the actual little antenna area, and then you'll do a few little dots on the ends of your butterfly also, on each corner of it. And if you want to change those little dots up, you can. And the main thing about these is you're going to do your solid color first, and figure out where your light source is. Like if it's from this corner, then put your little white, and you can't really see that real well on here, but there's a little bit of a white paint right here. It's yellow with a little bit of white smudge. Just give your smudges on the same side, so of the direction of where your light is coming from. And that's on all of your little dots. And you're just going to kind of sprinkle them all over your canvas. Some really large ones, medium size, and yeah, just all over. And they don't have to be exactly like mine or even the painting copy that you got. Have a little fun with it and put them in different directions. Just don't go overboard. Too much can, yeah, a little too much can be a little much. So there you go. That's the painting for this time. And in 2 weeks, we'll be doing how to paint and grow, to paint and grow bulbs. And we're going to be doing gladiolas. So if you sign up for supplies for that, then that's what you're going to be getting is some gladiola bulbs and some blood meal too. So you'll have to provide your own gardening soil for this, but it's a good idea to have some gardening soil on hand for this particular one when you plant it. Unless you have a really good garden area that you're going to already be planting in, that's got some really good, that you've already cultivated and gotten it ready for planting. If it's going to be a new area that you've never worked with before, then you'll definitely need some gardening soil to mix in with it. So, okay. Well, that's it for this time, and be sure to call up here and sign up for supplies, or come by and sign up for supplies, or sign up to do it in person next time. If it's bad weather, we'll do it as an informational type program in the meeting room. If it's nice weather, we're going to do it outside in one of our gardens, and I'll actually show you how to do it. All right, and I guess I need to remember to say, if you want to call us at 501-457-5038, and then just tell them you want to sign up for the Crafting with Opal program. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.